I've still got people coming in, pardon me. I'll let them in as we go. Good evening, Steve. Steve's in the house. Apologies, there'll probably be a little bit of that while I'm just letting a few latecomers in, or if anyone's been struggling to get online. However, right, we'll kick off. So, and I'll try and multitask. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This evening is going to be, I'm going to do my best, and timings are definitely not always my forte. Anyone that watches any of my lives or my videos will know this to be true. But I'm going to do my best this evening and keep this to 30 minutes because you are all very, very busy people. And I think actually, if we try and keep it, or if I try and keep it short, punchy, pulling out some important messages. And also, I think what usually happens after about half an hour, naturally our attention span starts to wane a little bit. So I'm going to try and keep these sessions at 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give a little bit of an intro just into myself, just in case anyone doesn't know me, we haven't met before, or you haven't heard me speak before. So I'll just give a really real quick little intro, and then I will crack on. So but for those that don't know me, my name is Lucy Ingram. I'm based in the beautiful Ocean City, that is Plymouth. And here I live with my partner in crime, Stephanie, my ride or die, my better half, the other half of the ride enterprise. And we live here with our crazy French bulldog, Circe, or as she likes to be called, Queen Circe, Queen by name, Queen by nature. And yeah, I mean, a little bit about me. I'm not going to go into massive detail tonight because that's not what this is about. I'll just give you a very, very quick overlay. So I've been in property for the last kind of 5 years or so. I've dabbled around in a few different strategies, and I'm just letting a few more people in. Dabbled around in a few little strategies, and we've got a small buy-to-let portfolio. We started off in rent to rent actually back in 2000, and I think it was 19 at the beginning of COVID, if that's how long ago that was. We went from 0 to 50 rent to rent HMOs and SA units in 6 months, which was absolutely bonkers. And in all honesty, we just became busy fools. But it was a great way to get into property. We learnt loads. We made loads of mistakes. We learned from the mistakes, but ultimately, we managed to replace my income, and I got a bit of confidence in the property space and was able to ultimately leave. Done commercial to residential, as I know we've got some property people online tonight, so done commercial to residential developments. More recently did a block of 3 flats, we just renovated it, and that's come into our portfolio. So I've done a little bit in property, and over the last kind of year, 18 months or so, I've started to pursue more of a coaching, mentoring phase of my journey, which is basically designed around high performance, energy, and helping people to become ultimately the best versions of themselves that they can. So I'm here tonight with my riding high hat on, and ultimately what I want is I want these sessions to be super positive, inspiring, high energy, high vibe, high vibration, high frequency. I want it to be a positive space, a safe place. And I want it to try and be as engaging as possible. And like I said, I'm going to try and keep it snappy to half an hour, but I do really encourage you to share, to engage, to contribute. If you've got questions, please feel free. It's a fairly intimate setting tonight as well, so if you do want to, just contribute and just hand up or just unmute and just go for it. I don't want it to be too structured this evening. So hopefully this is also going to be an opportunity for you to build clarity in whatever way, shape, or form that needs to be right now, help you to build confidence, and also help you to build connections. So this is all about kind of meaningful connections as well. And over the course of the sessions, ultimately, I'm going to be explaining why I passionately believe that energy is not only necessary, but it's essential in order to live a rich and fulfilling life. So what I'm going to be covering over the sessions are some of the strategies, the pillars, the milestones, if you like, that I believe will help you to tap into an endless pot of energy, which in turn is going to unlock that intrinsic motivation and fire in your belly to jump out of bed every morning with a spring and a genuine desire to just smash the day. So that's ultimately the aim of what these sessions are. And if that sounds like that's a little bit of you, and that's kind of you think you're in the right place, then again, thumbs up or thumbs up in the chat. Good. Okay, happy days. And I can see Ildiko, you're online. Brendan, good evening. Steve and Andreo, yeah, please feel free. I'm just letting somebody else in. Please feel free to use the chat box. Understand that we can't always have our cameras on. That's cool as well. Okay, so everyone's in the right place. Good evening, Claire. So what I have come to realise then over my years on this earth so far is that in order to achieve extraordinary things, there is one thing unequivocally that is associated with high performance, enlightenment, fulfillment, a happy life that so many of us are inadvertently trying to create more and more of every single day. Okay, and that is energy. Okay, so why are we so obsessed with seeking our true purpose in life? Because it gives us a fire in our bellies and a spring in our step. Why do we strive to build structure and routine into our lives? Well, because it organises our life, our minds, and it amplifies our spare capacity so that we can achieve more, be more productive, do more, be more, etc. And why does taking action give us such a massive kick? And that's because action leads to motivation, which spurs further action, and so on and so on. So we create that positive cycle. So the point that I'm trying to make in this kind of bit of an introduction, if you like, is that in so many areas of our life, energy is intrinsically linked to powerful and positive outcomes. And again, if that resonates, if that makes sense to you, then again, just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs up in the chat box. Happy days. I've got my crew here. I've got my tribe in the house. So energy does intrinsically link to positive outcomes. And that particular philosophy, I guess, very much sits behind the framework that I've built out over the last 12 to 18 months, which is been based on my experiences in the military, which I don't think I actually mentioned earlier on. But for those that don't know, I had 21 years service in the military. So I left back in the summer of 22 to jump into the crazy world of property full time, business entrepreneurship. So that framework that I built based off that philosophy, based off experiences and challenges that I had over a military career and the last 4 to 5 years, both in property and business, that framework is designed to empower and help those who are those high achievers, those property professionals, entrepreneurs, business owners, solopreneurs, but those who are struggling for whatever reason right now in your journey, struggling to consistently show up on a day-to-day basis with that fire, with that sense of purpose, with that sense of clarity, that are struggling on a day-to-day basis with that. So that's kind of my aim, to empower those who are serious about growth, serious about personal development, and all of those things that I mentioned before. So that's a little bit of a brief overview of how these sessions are going to go. I'm 10 minutes in, I'm aware. So this particular session today, and again, please, if you've got any questions, then just hit me up as we go through. But I'm going to share one slide with you today, and that's it. I don't want to just be PowerPoint slide. I just want to be like building some connection with you ladies and gentlemen, and just being real. I don't like being too scripted. I like to just kind of say what comes to me. So this session is, in my opinion, where it all starts, and it's all about reconnecting to our mission. Okay, so in the military, we use the word or the term mission, and it's how the commander will articulate their goal or their vision towards their team, and it's designed to energize and motivate those team members to push towards that goal. So as business owners, we are also told quite often that we need a mission, right, or a purpose. And why is this? Well, it's the same reason. By defining our very reason for being, it gives us the intrinsic drive to keep going, to persevere through the challenges, which, everyone here, I pretty much know everyone here, and I know everyone here is in business or property of some description, or multiple in some cases, and everyone will understand and resonate with that. Challenges are a daily occurrence, and the more that we grow, the more that we push our comfort zone and we raise our set point, the more challenges that are going to come. So that's never going to get like spoiler alert. That's never going to get easier. The more we grow, the more money we bring in, like the more problems we're going to have, and that is just part and parcel of that journey. And if we wanted it safe and we wanted it comfortable, we would have stayed in the safe, comfortable, predictable place of the 9 to 5, and we wouldn't be exploring other areas. So what is purpose? So I'm going to be chatting about some things that you've probably heard me say before. But again, like I said, this is the beginning of the story. This is the beginning of the journey. And I believe that purpose is fundamentally where we need to start from. So what is purpose? Well, thousands and thousands of years ago, as hunter-gatherers, okay, the human purpose was very simple. So it basically looked like wake up in the morning, go and find food, go and hunt it down, bring it back, make a fire, cook the food, eat the food, maybe watch a sunset together, maybe have a little cuddle, go to sleep, rinse and repeat. And that was like the human purpose as hunter-gatherers thousands of years ago. But in today's digitally driven world, the human purpose is very different. Okay, with everything at our fingertips. So no longer are we fighting for survival. Okay, if we think about Maslow's hierarchy, no longer are we fighting for survival, but today we're fighting for a rich and abundant life. Okay, and whether that's longevity, wealth, health, meaningful connection, experiences, fulfillment. So the trouble is that today, in this digitally driven world that we're living in, with everything at our fingertips, like information is just instant. Like we don't need to wait for anything anymore. So there is opportunities and there's also temptations everywhere, right? Who relates to that? Who feels that? 100%. So we are being pulled in a million different directions all at once. Everyone wants a piece. And so today, more people than ever are starting to feel lost, hopeless, overwhelmed, anxious, like all those gremlins in our mind are like starting to just be at the forefront more and more often. And so I believe that, certainly in today's world, that purpose is more important than it has ever been. Because a life without purpose is a life without meaning. And meaning is what drives true happiness, true joy, and the most organic form of energy generation. So that's why this is the start. This is day one of the next step of our journey, is reconnecting into that from within. But the problem is so many people today are on autopilot. Yeah, they're just kind of reacting day to day, situation to situation, without ever really taking a moment to just understand what truly drives them and what values they stand for and what ultimately makes them tick. So if I'm completely honest, this was me, and I'm not going to go into a big sob story. That's not what this is. But that was me. I when I left the Navy, June 2022, to jump into a new world, a new challenge, a new chapter. Before then, I was definitely like living for the weekends. I was living for the next paycheck. Me and Steph. So Steph is also she still serves in the military. She's a GP in the military down here in Plymouth. But at the time, we were like at different ends of the country. We were never really in the same place for any length of time. So we were just living for the weekends. And I was feeling lost without purpose, and yeah, like I wasn't living a fulfilled life. I was wasting my life waiting for the weekend. So I felt that. I left the Navy, I jumped into property, which I really, really enjoyed. And I do really, really love property, don't get me wrong. But, and I love managing teams and I love seeing a project go from A to B. And I'm sure everyone like that is in the property, sphere here will get that as well. And, but it was just a little piece that just wasn't quite ticking all the boxes. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I wasn't feeling like I was really leaving that much of a positive impact for me. Just something wasn't quite sitting right. So that's when I guess I started to look into purpose a little bit more. And I came across something called, I'm not going to tell you actually. I'm just gonna, although if you've ever watched any of my talks before, you will see. But I'm going to share one slide with you. Hopefully you can see it. Let me know if you can. Thumbs up. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so this is essentially, well, who knows what this is? Does anyone recognize this particular slide? Stick it in the chat if you do, or just unmute and just shout it out if you like. Anyone recognize this particular slide? I'm squinting to see the chat, but yes, thank you, Claire. Yeah. Cool. It's Ikigai. Okay, so for those that haven't maybe come across this before, Ikigai is a Japanese concept, and it actually translates to the happiness in being busy. So me and Steph actually went to Japan. We went to a place called Okinawa. So again, I'm sure some of you guys have heard of that place. And actually, if you've ever watched the documentary Blue Zone, it's one of the places in the world where like life expectancy is way more than like the rest of the world. And this documentary called Blue Zone basically just goes around the world visiting all these places where they've got a really high mortality rate. So that life expectancy. So it translates to the happiness in being busy. And ultimately, if we look at this Venn diagram on the slide now, and actually, this Venn diagram is a Western contribution to this concept, because actually, obviously, it's a Japanese concept, so it's Eastern. And then, I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but it was some guru basically said we can turn this into a more Western self-development model that will work really nicely. So it's got a bit of an Eastern and a Western thing going on there. But if you look at the slide, we've got these four circles, and at the top of the top circle represents what you love, what you're good at. What you love, what you're passionate about, what gets the fire in your belly going. On the left hand side, as you look at it, is your skills. So this is your strengths, what you're good at. On the right hand side, it's what the world needs. So this comes to, are you providing value to the world? And then in the bottom, it's what you can get paid for. So, we've all got to eat, right? So those are your four circles. And those circles, where they intersect, they overlap, they create your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your profession. And right in the center of that is your ikigai. That's what my interpretation of that is. That is your power center. So that is like your why, your purpose. When you're in complete flow, you're in complete alignment, you feel like you're cooking on gas, like you can achieve absolutely anything you want to. You get out of bed every morning with that fire in your belly and a huge spring in your step. So that is ultimately the holy grail of, essentially finding your purpose. And what I would say is a little bit of a caveat. And again, this is, I don't want to go too deep tonight. I just, as for the reasons I've already stated, but if this is the first time that you've come across this particular model, this particular concept, then I would just kind of caveat that it is quite a deep topic. And, I do appreciate that. And, we're kicking off with quite a deep topic here. And you're not necessarily just going to find your purpose overnight, looking at a slide for a couple of minutes. Like anything, like mastery in life, it takes time, it takes reflection, it takes a journey of self-discovery as we aim to find it. And sometimes we can find it really quickly, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. But also what I would say is that sometimes you find something that actually, it does put the fire in your belly. You are really good at it. It does provide value, but for some, for whatever reason, maybe it's not something that's appropriate for like a business venture, or it's not necessarily going to bring you money. And you could pick 3 out of the 4 that maybe you can find, but it's just not hitting every single one. But that's okay too, because this may be your next passion project that again allows you to feel centered. It allows you to raise that vibration. So, ultimately you can like make better decisions. You can have better relationships. You can be at peace with yourself, and you can live that fulfilled life, that you are striving to fill. So what I would say is don't stress too much about this. And again, this is just a light touch tonight. I don't want to go into too much detail. And if anyone is ever interested in talking about this topic more, then please just reach out. But again, it would be really, really great. I'm gonna stop sharing now, bring you all back in. So that is a little bit of an introduction, I guess, into ikigai, into your power center, into an area or a tool or a concept that if you are in a period of your life right now where maybe you want to reinvent, maybe you've left a world, a job, a business, and you're stepping into the next unknown, and it feels uncomfortable. And there's the whole thing about mindset when we need to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. And one of those self-limiting factors sometimes can be that need for certainty and need for safety and understanding what everything is coming our way and nice and predictable and nice and safe. But my point is, if you are at a bit of a crossroads right now, and maybe you are thinking that you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not feeling like maybe you're living your true potential, you've got more to give, more to offer, but you maybe don't quite know what that might be yet, then I would encourage you to use this model. Something super simple, something that I would work through anyone that I work with more closely, would be to start off with, writing down what you're good at, writing down 10 things. And this is the thing, we're really rubbish at acknowledging our strengths. and what we're good at. Like I don't know if it's a British thing or but typically speaking, we're not very good at it. If I asked everyone right now in this virtual room to write down 10 things that you weren't good at, it would be like just going off the hook. It would be going off the hook. I know it would, because it's just inherent within us to self criticize. Um, but I would encourage you to just spend some time, 10, 15 minutes, write down, like, what do you love? Like, what are you passionate about? Write down 10 things, write down what you're good at. Again, like mark it 1 out of 10, or whatever method, works for you. Um, what you value. And sometimes people struggle with values, like, oh God, what is it I value? And what I would say sometimes when I work with people is that actually flip it on its head, and rather than thinking about what you value, think about what grinds your gears, like if someone turning up late to something because that winds you up. If someone isn't kind to somebody, and so you can flip it on its head, like what is it that goes against your values, what winds you up, what pisses you off, and actually then you could probably pull out some of your most important values from that. So a little bit of, yeah, I mean, a bit of home play if anyone wants to do this outside of this virtual room tonight, but a little bit of a tool that, if we can get to that power center, if we can get to that place that we're in alignment, we're in flow, we're heightened levels of intrinsic motivation to energy. That's, in my opinion, where everything will flow from. And it starts with purpose. It starts with, what is my why? Like, what gets me going? What do I stand for? So yeah, I don't know if anyone has got any questions. If anyone wants, I'll open it up, open the floor. 29 minutes past 7. Boom. Um, yeah, I would love to, yeah, get some shares. Your interpretation, is purpose something that you are currently looking at? Are you wanting to look at it? Are you in a period of flux at the minute? Safe place. If you want to open up, if you've got any questions, then I'm here for as long as you need me, guys.
I have a question.
Hello, Claire. Good evening.
Hey, Lucy, you're right.
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very good.
So I haven't had a try at this, and I was rubbish, and I was particularly rubbish at the whole values thing. So what you've just said has really helped,
Good.
like what grinds your gears or whatever. So that's really good because I think I got about two values, and obviously that's not right. Um, but I did ask my husband to write down what is it, what you love, what your values are, and what your skills are. So I got my husband to help me, and I wasn't sure whether to say when you're talking about skills, because he came up with things like you're very hardworking,
Mhm.
and you're very you're tenacious and all this. And I was like, is that a skill? I don't know. Whereas I was thinking things like well, with me, it's property, so I can spot a defect. That is an obvious skill. It's a
Eagle
tangible.
eye.
Well, is it? Say again.
An eagle eye.
I have an eagle eye. Yes, but he was like, "You're a good listener." And I was like, I feel
That's
I need
that's
more.
that's definitely a skill. Like,
Is
all
it?
those
Oh,
things are a
okay.
skill. And what I would say is, there's no right or wrong with this
Okay.
stuff, And sometimes actually just kind of getting into that mindset where, just kind of try and take away like restrictions, or kind of barriers away, and just I'm not necessarily going to go into like meditations or anything like that during these sessions, but I think I'm having my mind opened up to that kind of side of things at the minute, and trying to just let the barriers down, let the ego go away, kind of, and then just try and let that creative juice run wild, and just get a pen and just write.
It is
And
quite hard. It takes practice. I could see that, and you've got to be in a certain place, like mindset, to do it. It can't be
yeah,
like you can't be cooking the tea and chopping the veg or whatever. Well, no, you can't.
yeah, yeah, I would always advise any kind of any deep reflection work where you're trying to kind of focus the mind, try and like notifications off. And again, it's this digitally driven world that we live in where it's like, oh, Sky News notification, or oh, I've got a notification on Facebook, or someone's trying to get hold of me on WhatsApp, and it's just like so yeah, I would always recommend anything of this nature. Try and find your kind of calm, kind of settled place, time of the day. And again, I think it's about being a little bit um, aware of your routine and your natural flow state throughout the day as well. Sometimes the day will naturally be better for you than not, if that makes sense.
It does make sense,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. In the middle of the day, basically, for me, because either end of the day is chaos. So yeah.
Bookmarked off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Claire. Thanks for the
Thanks.
question.
Hi.
Hey,
Hello, darling. You're right.
yes, it's so nice to see you here.
You too. Mine's more of a share really than a
Oh,
question.
please.
It just seems it's really like synchronistic this because last year I discovered Ikigai. And I'd actually, where was I? I think I was in some museum or other. I always get terribly bored in museums, and Sean likes everything diligently, and I always bugger off to the gift shop. So I'd buggered off to this gift shop and bought this book called Ikigai. And I was just sat outside this museum reading this book, and it really resonated with me. And then not long after that, I was feeling, obviously, I've been in property for a while. And sometimes when you get into something and it just kind of takes off and it goes really big, it can feel like you've created this roller coaster and you're just whizzing round at a million miles an hour. And initially you wanted the roller coaster, but at some point you feel like you just want to get off the bloody thing, but you don't know how to stop it. And it's just like this creature's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's more and more loops, and you're getting dizzy. And I was feeling quite like that. I feel like I've been swept away now. I feel like I've been kind of taken away from myself a little bit. And then this book popped up, the Ikigai book, and I started reading that. And the following weekend, I was due to go on an ayahuasca retreat to do some really, really deep, psychedelic learnings, which I did, and that threw up a load more things all around purpose. And I felt like, no, I haven't been living my true purpose. Not that I'm not in the right vocation, not that I'm not following my passion, but like you, all the different things just didn't link, and it didn't feel like I was doing it in a purposeful way. Felt like I was being shoved rather than taking my own steps a lot of the time. So yeah, then that was very profound, that retreat. And then I ended up having like a huge great tattoo on my back after this ayahuasca retreat, because I just got all these visions. And one of the things that I've had is the Japanese sun with Ikigai.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And this year, to be in all honesty, has been a little bit hellish, and I've had a few challenges. Like you say, I always think it's like a computer game. You level up to the next level, and the baddies just get bigger, and you just have to get your bigger guns out. And we've really had to get our bigger guns out this year. And I'd kind of forgotten about it; it had gone out of the back of my head. And then I saw your thing pop up the other day about purpose, and I thought, yeah, I need to look at this. And it's just so cool that it's back to Ikigai. I'm actually learning Japanese at the moment because I want to go there. I want to
Oh
go.
my, it's literally
Speak to the people and get to know,
gozaimasu.
and it's just, yeah. So it's something that really resonates, and I just thought how synchronistic that I just saw that it's popped up, and here I am. I'm talking about Ikigai, which is the thing that really meant a lot to me last year. But then this year, because of all the burdens and the challenges, I'd kind of forgotten about it. But I feel like I really am at a sort of transient phase at the moment where we are morphing what we do. Our business is changing quite significantly into something else. And I feel like I am a little bit like I've been thrown up into the air and I don't quite know where I'm going to land yet. So I think it's just a really good time. So thank you.
Amazing share. No, honestly, that's and you're right. I think sometimes I think a lot of it is down to timing, isn't it? Like where we are in our journey, like how what we've been through, how open our minds are at that particular point, and yeah, I think it's we've done some stuff together. We've been on a mastermind together, and I kind of I've seen like how amazingly well you've done over the years. But it just goes to show that it's like you say that we level up, you know, more things come on, the challenges get bigger, our bounce back ability to adversity needs to become bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. And that journey of continual self-development and self-discovery and being open to new ways of the world, and yeah, it never stops. It never stops. But Japan is absolutely the most incredible place. You have to
Yeah,
just go and live that.
I can't wait to go. I want to be a geisha girl.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It really, really is such a special place. Really is. Thank you for that share, Sarah. It was amazing. Thank you.
Lucy, can I just ask, how did you find like leaving the military and that kind of part of your identity, or did you not see it as part of your identity? That makes sense.
Yeah, so I definitely did go through a phase of loss of identity for sure. I do get asked this question quite a bit, and I think that it's two prong. I think it would be unfair of me to say that I went through it as much as maybe some people have gone through it, because COVID was happening at the time. We'd all, like a lot of people, a lot of us were working from home, and that transition had kind of happened, and then I think. So for my story at that particular point in time, Steph had gone away to the other side of, well, she'd actually gone to the Far East, and that's actually why I ended up going to Japan to visit her for 3 weeks, because she was meant to go on a 3-month deployment to the Mediterranean, which was meant to be a bit of a booze cruise, but she won't tell you that. But it actually ended up turning into being like 11 months away. Which is pretty hardcore, actually. Like when your partner, like your life partner, you know, all of a sudden is basically away for the whole year. But so that was like really big change, really big upheaval, and I think actually that was the first time that we'd started to say, do you know what, this is like, we're living for the weekends, or you know, we're living for deployment to end, and this isn't like, there's more to life than this. So that was kind of when we'd started to make the transition. But you know, I guess in answer to your question, yeah, definitely did get a loss of identity. But you know, I think, you know, I do passionately believe that, you know, that throughout our lives we will evolve and we will grow and we will reinvent and we will you know, rediscover a new part of ourselves that we didn't know existed before. So I almost just kind of embraced it. You know, and I think, you know, you move from one family or community, and for me it was the military, and I know you've been in, you know, you're the military and in the medical world, and I think it's just kind of about finding a new tribe and a new community, which, you know, for me at that time, moving into property, I absolutely had that and met loads of incredible people. And you know, I think it's that continual desire to keep learning, to keep improving, to be in positive spaces with positive people that are going to lift you rather than pull you down. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm certainly, I don't know if it's because I'm coming up to 40, but I'm certainly starting to lose patience with people that do bring me down, that's for sure. And now you know, I try and just make sure that I'm around good energy, high vibration, you know. But yeah, so it's probably a bit of a long answer. Yes, I did lose my identity, but I found a new one.
Partly because obviously I think I've come to a point in my life where I know I don't want to be a physio anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought that I identified as a physio. So obviously at the point we briefly worked alongside, like we've both worked in that complex trauma. So I've always had that thing of like anything could happen, and you don't want your job to be your identity. And I've got loads of stuff in my life outside of my work. But then I've never really thought about the fact that in terms of not being a physio, I'm like, I think I do in terms of work, I almost stuck there of like, I've always been a physio and I don't know how to like transition that into anything else. It's like interesting that I would never have said it's my identity until I've tried to think about not doing it. And then it feels like so terrifying to think of being anything but a physio.
I get that. I totally get that. I'm sure the majority of the peeps on tonight will get that as well. And you know, I think it's a physio isn't, you're not defined by
No.
your job. Like actually, you're defined by the fact that you've helped people for all of your career, taken them from a really bad, low place, complex trauma, like to actually a place in their life where they can have enjoyment again, they can live a more fulfilled life, they can be functional, in whatever shape or form that looked like. But that's your identity, that willingness to help people, because actually being a physio is so much more than just like injury kind of prevention or rehabilitation back from injury. It's so much more than biology, and it's being with people. It's inspiring people. It's motivating people to do what they need to do to get better. It's so much more than the title.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else want to share? What time is it? I can stay here as long as you guys want to. But what I would say is that the plan is very much to run these sessions on a fortnightly basis. I've got very much a framework of topics that I want to cover that I believe that are going to help you towards that ultimate goal of building a life of happiness and fulfillment. So the next session is all going to be about vision, which is again another topic that is very, very close to my heart. But what I would say is that if anyone, and I'm always open, if anyone has any particular areas that they would like to be discussed in these formats, if you want help in maybe certain areas, or there's something that you would want me to cover, then again I'm always open. So just hit me up. I'm just looking back through the chat to make sure I haven't missed anything. I don't think so. I love the fact that you've got an ikigai tattoo, Sarah. That is so cool. That is so bloody cool. But yeah, I mean, if there isn't any other questions.
Hello?
Oh, hello, Mildiko.
Sorry, put the video back. But dinner
Hello,
arrived.
lovely.
I turned the video off. Hi, yeah. I was just wondering, is it going to be every evening or every Monday? And how many sessions? I thought it was just the one of. I didn't see any details about it being a series.
Yeah, so I'm not too kind of what's the word I'm looking at? I'm not too kind of what's the word I'm looking at? I've gone completely blank. I don't want things to be necessarily too structured. I think for me, I would like to do a fortnightly session. I think that's a nice amount. A Monday night is kind of, I think a Monday is a good day to get things going.
As long as
but again,
networking.
Pardon?
As long as it doesn't clash with my networking event.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure it would go. That's priority number one. But yeah, fortnightly. I thought 7 o'clock was a good time, but to be honest, if again I'm open, if I know it's difficult to get it to work perfectly for everybody, but yeah, I think an evening on a Monday, fortnightly, and again, always open to suggestions, always open to feedback. But yeah, like I said, I don't want it to be too structured, but I do want to try and bring as much value as possible. I'm very passionate about creating a positive space for people as well. There's a lot of stuff going on at the minute. There's a lot of things to choose from. I get that, which is why I kind of wanted to keep it relatively short, so not to impact on your evenings too much. But yeah, if there's not any questions, I will put out a link for the next session, which is all about vision, and I'm very, very looking forward to that one. So yeah, have a brilliant evening, everyone. Take care. And like I said, if anyone wants to speak any more about any of this stuff, if anyone's struggling in any way, shape, or form, reach out. I'm here to serve. Yeah, I genuinely really, really enjoy doing these sessions. So again, if anyone wants to continue the conversation on, let me know. Have a great evening. Remember, whatever you do, enjoy the ride and enjoy the rest of your Monday evening, everyone. Take care.